Working with a bunch of, I call them all heroes because many of them sacrificed their lives when 19 and younger, never had a chance to have a life, a wife, a child, ever have a grandchild, and it was like gut wrenching.
Yeah.
But then I realized, wow, we are working together.
Absolutely.
But does it take that much?
Yeah, it does. It takes that much. All right. Good morning and welcome to the West Chamber Pop-Up. I am Christy Villanueva, president of the West San Antonio Chamber, and I am here with Eddie Cruz of University Health Systems, and we're going to talk about procurement with UHS. So thank you again for joining us. We are at, this morning, on the northwest side, we are at Cafe Martinez, a beautiful, beautiful location off of Louis Pasteur and Babcock Road. So if you get a chance, you need to come in. Let them know the West Chamber recommended that you stop by. I've got my hot tea. They've got breakfast, oatmeal, bagels, sweets, anything that you want. So thank you again to Cafe Martinez for their hospitality and allowing us to shoot West Chamber Pop-Up this morning. So, Eddie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us.
It's my privilege.
I appreciate all the work that you do and your advocacy for business and small business specifically. Tell us what your role is at UHS.
My role currently at UHS, I've just been on board 5 months. I transitioned over from transportation and took the honor of having this position as Director of Supply Diversity. What Mr. Hernandez saw in the future was more small business and local presence. And so when he opened this position, he wanted to elevate it to a director's spot so that way we can have the leadership and the empowerment to make the right choices that can impact the community.
Okay.
So for us is to work closely with supply diversity, with this now procurement, with Mr. Tony Carrillo and Pauline, so that way we can then bring more small businesses into our community in the medical field.
So that makes sense. And I know over the years I've had some experiences in and out with UHS, and I can see the changes, albeit, it's slow, but it's very focused, it seems
Yes,
like.
it is.
Okay. So give us, especially for our audience, those small business owners that are really trying to look for new contracts, those 50,000 and under, sometimes you just need that start.
Yes.
So give us an example of maybe kind of worst case scenario when a small business comes to you. What are they missing? What do you recommend that they do? How should they proceed?
Many times with the small business owners, they want to bite off more than they can chew. And I always have to speak with them and ask them, what is their business? What is their mission? What's their intent? So that way we can determine what portion can they support. I'll have small businesses want to go after major contracts or innovation. I said, what is your bonding level? And that's one of the issues is credit worthiness.
Yes.
Because as a small business, they have to be maintaining their personal credit, which impacts their bonding and insurance and their cost and budget that goes into it. I said, and the other mistake they make, I've seen many where they get a sizable contract and automatically they start living the good life.
Yes.
Versus reinvesting in their business so that way they can create longevity and impact and expand their business. Like the old saying is reinvest in your business.
Yes. And we see that a lot. Some of our small business owners, they're working out of their truck or their van or what have you, and things are getting good. Next thing you know, they're driving a sports car.
Yes.
And that's usually the wrong move because, like you're saying, we've got to put that money back in. A lot of our financial classes for the West Chamber, that's exactly what we talk about, is we just need to take what we need really for the first 5 years.
Yes.
Not just for the first year or the first 2 years. It's got to be a little bit longer because we need to have that nest egg at the end of the day because you never know when something's going to go wrong.
Exactly. So when you buy that car, it impacts your credibility. So now you had that liability on there because it's not an asset. Unless you're going to have a vehicle for the job that's going to carry the logo and then you'll track the mileage.
Right.
Aside from that, it's a burden. So when you start looking for that bonding insurance, then it goes against you.
Absolutely. So tell me, what sorts of policies have been updated lately with UHS?
Fantastic. I'm glad you asked. One of the things that we've done is we've incorporated a 16 county area around UHS. They didn't have a clear understanding of what local was. In this day and age, local means your metropolitan area of Bexar County, City of San Antonio, and surrounding counties. Because there's many small businesses. In this day of technology, there's no longer, well, Poteet's a small town.
Right.
No, there's a small business owner sitting in their home right now, online, doing business, communicating with someone here in San Antonio or nationally or internationally.
Absolutely.
So what I did is we incorporated a 16 county area, so that way we can determine based on zip codes, who are we doing business with. What was interesting with UHS is we have the data. We've had the data all along. So when we incorporated merging zip codes, suddenly we were able to recognize businesses that were considered local and include that in our response and reporting to our board. So we've done that. We've enhanced our EEO composition requests from employers or from contractors. And what that is the basic ethnic makeup of their company, so we can determine the economic impact of their community. They're either San Antonio or outside the state.
Absolutely. And we actually have members. We have one member in Somerset, Texas.
Yes.
So it's very interesting that, they found that they had property there. They were able to reuse it, put up a building, but still service this area. So they're very effective that way. And their employees many times are from a hub zone area in San Antonio, but they're benefiting both Somerset and
there's many business owners I know that live in Cotulla, that live in Atascosa County, that live in Wilson County. I reside personally in Wilson County. Kerr County, we have a water filtration system that's based out of Kerr County. So I'm always educating everybody to come in and do business with us. And it's important. The other thing we've done is now we have streamlined where I create availability based on certification. We procure through NAICS, which is North American Industry Classification System. It's a procurement coding system or code that encompasses for federal procurements. But luckily with Tony Carrillo, he has a federal background. He came from the hospital industry also. So it's great because it impacts two areas. It's utilized for census, for the businesses that in your county, and those businesses that use those NAICS codes and how many of them reside in your county. The other thing too is NAICS is also utilized under the Department of Transportation for certifications for the DBE program. We use the South Central Texas Regional Certification Agency. They've been in existence going on 21 years, since 1998. It's a free service offered to our small businesses.
Absolutely.
I'm the current chair for this year, and it's important to me and an honor to lead that organization so we can expand more business certifications and more business participation. So which leads us, one of the policies is we've gone from self-certification at UHS to certified businesses.
That's wonderful. That's a huge push for our small business owners, small, medium-sized business owners. I know there's a lot of tier 2 companies that have that issue as they're going from small to that next level. And this is what they need. They need those incentives. So tell us a little bit more about, so I'm a small business owner. Let's say I can, bond a $3 million project, but I want to come and do work with UHS. So where am I going to go?
Well, first of the things I advise them is to do a vendor registration on our websites. It's very important, and that's one of the frustrations. We're trying to streamline that also with all the agencies. Primarily vendor register with us so that way we can then have them on our system. And the reason we do that is because when we contract with that vendor, then we need their W-9 and they have to be an approved vendor on our system so we can then reimburse them for the services that they provided to us. And that's important. The other thing too is that vendor system is tied into other agencies that use it. The City of San Antonio utilizes it. It's called Business to Government. It is a compliance software that many agencies across the United States use, but it's heavily used in the state of Texas. Texas University System uses it. Texas State Department of Transportation uses it. City of San Antonio, the County of Bexar, San Antonio Water Systems, UHS utilizes it, VIA Metropolitan utilizes it, and it allows vendors to use their same login and password to B2G
across the board,
make it easier. But what's also unique, it gives us access to the vendor certification system at DOT in the state of Texas. So if you say you're a DBE or hub or small business, I will be able to see that. I will also be able to see if your certifications are coming up for renewal. For example, an affidavit requirement for a DBE program, or the 2-year renewal for the emerging small business enterprise. Then I can remind them, hey, your certifications come up, please continue certified. Because what we've found in this day and age, stakeholders want to know, how do we spend our tax dollars?
Absolutely.
And that's important.
Absolutely. So now tell me a little bit about what I've heard is, does UHS or I know the medical industry participates in co-ops.
Yes.
And sometimes some of our small business members have expressed a little discord with that because it's tougher, there's a fee that has to be paid. So tell me UHS's role in the co-ops.
Currently right now, UHS puts everything out for bid primarily. We are going to a whole new ERP system that is kind of a cooperative, but for us, it's preferred to put a bid out in the street to allow everyone the opportunity to procure it.
Yes.
Because that's the issue with many of our co-ops. You either had to have a state contract already established, and then in the hopes that someone will call you up so you can get that. So we want to balance that out. Our policy right now is procure first, and then we can look at a co-op only in case there's a need for it.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. So that's good to hear because, a lot of the small business owners always talk about time is of the essence.
Yes.
And then because they go into the co-ops, while I know that they're extremely useful, they do kind of prohibit people from looking into the full line of opportunities.
Right.
So that's great to hear that you have a different
And then, it's not
perspective.
to say that we may change it. It depends on how the direction we're moving. We're going to a new ERP system that's important to us. We will no longer be using Lawson.
Okay.
We're going to more medical based because it caters to the needs of the hospital organization. They have an internal co-op. They deal with over 300 types of hospitals across the U.S. So it's important that we are able to do businesses that work with hospitals, but also I'm still focused on businesses that can work with UHS here in San Antonio.
Okay.
So that's the freedom I like.
Okay, so that's wonderful. Now, let's say, do you ever recommend with some of our small businesses, from the chamber side, it's really good when they come in as a joint venture or in a teaming agreement. Now, how does UHS feel about that?
Well, in fact, we have that now. We have a most recent award that was made for the Women and Children's Tower is a joint venture. It's between Juris and J.E. Dunn out of Dallas, Texas. And so what we in our part at SCTRCA is we're looking to go into joint venture certification. That's not been approved yet, but that's an open discussion. I feel that when two businesses partner together, it works for everybody.
Okay. All right. So since you brought up, this large project, tell me about the recommendations and any, I guess from our members, it would probably be from almost an intervention perspective on how you push for the subcontractors to be second and third tier contractors to be local.
I will get to the point of that one. I'm working with Ellen Ward. That's the supply diversity for Juris. We've had several events. Juris is also part of the SCTRCA, so they can draw from a database of certified businesses. I've already gone over a class of utilizing NAICS codes and provided them a Bexar County business census so they can draw NAICS codes and utilize services from certified businesses in and around the city of San Antonio in the county of Bexar.
Okay, that's wonderful to hear because, like we just said, it's a challenge for those small business owners, and normally they're out on the street,
Yes.
hunting for work, and they're trying to finish projects, and it's difficult to balance sometimes applying and then going in and looking at those big contractors, just trying to get a chance, because that's another set of paperwork that they're
Exactly.
doing.
And they understand the importance of utilizing local and small business. And what's so good about it, before I go any further, is they don't have to be certified. Come in the door. If they're small, we'll help you get certified so we can count you.
Wonderful.
So don't always focus on that. Let's just help bring business into the community.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so happy to hear that, and the fact that this is available, changes are being made. I mean, Eddie, you're really making, in such a short period of time, you're making a big difference in the
It's
lives of
important to
small
me.
businesses. Well, I'm very glad. And tell us again the website for the
Okay,
people
the
that should apply.
website for vendors to look for opportunities or to vendor register is www.universityhealthsystem.com/bids. And I say again, www.universityhealthsystem, all one word, .com/bids.
Now, once they get on the system, will they receive email notifications?
Yes, driven by their NAICS codes. And I always tell them, make sure you research your NAICS
Yes.
so that way, not SICK or any other code or an
Right.
internal code, NAICS, so they can receive the notice.
And just in case, for those that aren't familiar, it's NACIS. You can just Google it, and you can always call our office. We'll help you do that search, because you need to be specific and understand what your specialty is You can't walk in the office and just say, hey, I do everything. There is always a specialty, so you've got to kind of pick that first, second, and third item that you specialize in specifically, and then from there, you can grow into some other things, some other areas. So we appreciate that. Okay, well, Eddie, are there any parting words for our members and friends of the Chamber? Any recommendations that you have, or just a parting message?
Yes, I can be reached at my direct line at 210. That would be 358-9112, or you can email me at edward.cruzjr@uhs-sa.com. I have an open door policy where we allow vendors to come in and talk to us, and I'd like to thank the West Chamber for allowing me to come here and advocate, because that is important to the small business community to understand that we are open for business. I know it's a common term we use, but we are truly open for business, so you can come in.
Thank you so much, Eddie. That's very appreciative, and not only to our chamber, but also to the members and the friends of the chamber, because that's exactly what we need. We need more businesses like this.
It's a privilege. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So everyone, don't forget. So we thank Eddie for his time. I hope that you will make an inquiry. And remember, UHS needs all sorts of products, whether it's cleaning services or electrical or construction, down to the napkins that they use. So there's lots of opportunity out there, and we hope that you can find something and where you fit in. The other thing I need to remind you of is, don't forget, our gala is at the end of the month. Purchase a table. You can purchase individual tickets. If you need additional information, we are happy to get that for you. The office number is 210-229-1266. The other thing is, if you have not taken us up on the safety classes with the Bexar County Sheriff's Department, that is very important. It is so worthwhile. This is free training for you as a business owner and for your employees. So you've got to bring them in, get them registered. It's going to be worth the time and effort to be spending with us. So we also have a number of other classes that are coming up, self-development, since that's one of our key initiatives. So please join us. You can find that all on westsachamber.org. Thank you again for joining us at Café Martinez here on the Northwest Side in the Medical Center. And please join us again for another episode of the West Chamber Pop-Up. We'll see you later.